Late night talking under moon's glow. Charles and Melendia got the flow. Real talk, ain't no need for show. In love's garden, watch it grow.
What's up, fam?
What's up, fam?
Hey, just keeping it real with Charles and
Melendia.
Yep, we're here
For
for
Thursday's Dose.
Yes.
Yes. And we got something we want to talk to y'all about. And it's about co-parenting.
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 Yes. A lot of people deal with co-parenting.
Yes.
And it's important with how you manage that. And yeah.
Yeah,
so
but
we'll get in.
what we realize and what we see is when you talk about co-parenting is when love changes between the two that's raising this particular child or children.
Sure, right.
But they have to understand the kids still matter.
Absolutely.
The kids still matter.
Yes.
So this thing that we have when it comes to co-parenting, you got to drop a lot of things that may cause division amongst the two adults.
You mean like if it's not amicable, you're more or less talking about let the beef go.
Yeah.
The turkey, the chicken, let all that stuff go and let it be about the child, period.
Yes.
Or the children.
Yes.
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 Okay. So in this episode, we want to help parents navigate the co-parenting space. And we want to help you possibly do that. Do it with peace,
Yeah.
respect, and also do it in a wise way. So use wisdom in it.
Absolutely. So understanding your role as in the co-parenting space, when two parents work together.
Okay. So you're more or less, okay, we're kind of expounding on what co-parenting is. Okay.
Yes.
Two people working
It's when
together.
two people
Yes.
are working together to raise their child or children, which could be after separation,
Okay.
divorce, within a strained marriage or relationship.
Okay.
A break off of relationship. What does it mean?
Sure.
Strained. They may not be divorced, but even within marriage, we talked about that too.
It could, yes. It actually could be a challenge in the marriage. We are married together, and it could be a challenge in how we raise our kids. So we talked about that in questions to ask before you say I do or things, because again, we all may be reared in different fashions, and now we come together and bring those different styles for a child or for children, and we have to do that, like I say again, in a wise way.
Yeah.
And so the goals of that is to do what?
Yeah, we have to, or if you're in that space, we're here to help you hone in on that goal, and that is to provide love, stability, and structure.
Okay.
And that also include that type for you and
Okay. Exactly.
you and the parents,
all the
two
children,
parents,
right? Yes.
to be able to provide this for the children.
Yes. The thing about it, it becomes it's all about the child. Bottom line, that's the most important thing. Not our personal issues, not about me, not about you, but about the child. So when we take on that, our mission is to provide that stability for the child. And then that should be the main focus in our co-parenting.
Yeah, it should be.
Yes.
But we also realize there are common challenges.
Okay.
There are common challenges that are involved with co-parenting, especially if it's divorce, separation, or a strained relationship.
Sure. Right.
And
Go ahead.
the one thing I think is emotional issues, emotions tied up in this situational ship.
Sure.
That,
Right.
that you have. You may not be kicking it right with your partner.
Okay. Right.
And you have to be able to realize that my emotions don't have anything to do with how we should co-parent our child.
Sure. And well, you speak of emotions. Emotions is one of the things. A lot of times, people nowadays they make decisions based on emotions, and that's what we've got to be careful of doing, because there can be something from the past, or it could be something new that just cropped up, and then you can see the change, even how we communicate because of emotions. Sometimes when we move in with emotions, we tend to hurt by doing that a lot of times. So we have to be careful about and move not in emotions, but in godly wisdom, period.
Yes. And then realize there are going to be new responsibilities with that.
Okay, meaning when people become in the co-parenting space. Yes. New responsibilities, yes. And definitely roles can shift or change.
Yes. And you're gonna have to pivot with these changes.
Yes.
It's not going to be about the convenience so much for you.
Right, exactly.
You know,
and that's what we say earlier. It needs to be about the child. You know, so I know that is tough. I know with us, when our daughter had come to us about expecting a child, I know we said that it's not about. I told her that it's not about you. From here on, you're not the main focus anymore. It's about this child.
Right.
And even with us, I share a story. Just like at one point, you remember when we were going through, and I talk about me being laid off, and we were going for assistance, not getting paid for a while, and then having our daughter. I took her to Arby's, and we had been out for a while that day, and both were hungry. We all were hungry, and I took her across the street to Arby's, and I had $2 in my pocket, and I bought her a little Arby's burger for $1, and then got the order of fries. I wanted those. I wanted one of them fries, but I just say, and I watch her eat. Let me tell you what I'm saying. You probably say, what in the world is he talking about? No, I want you to say that I looked at her. I said, although I'm hungry, I could steal a fry. But then I say, but my wife is over there in that office and she hadn't eaten anything. I would be cheating her. And I say, let me watch our daughter eat, because it's all about her.
Okay. So that reference.
I'm coming in. Yeah, I'm coming in.
Yeah, that reference is you're no longer about yourself.
Right. Sometimes you got to put you in the back seat and put the child in the front seat and make that the foremost, even in that with the ex or whatever, it can't be about your beef. Cannot be that important that the child is either lacking in some way of attention, or child shouldn't go lacking. Or,
right.
Really.
Yes. So, and another common challenge is different parenting styles.
Yes.
And that happens even within, marriage,
yes.
consistent, in marriages. And we had discussed this a little bit too, that could be a topic of discussion before you get married.
Before you say I do, yes.
But if you're in a situation and either you're not married or this happened after you got married, it's still time for conversation.
Absolutely, yes. And, well, just what you're saying here, it's like we can ask a question. Look, you and your, whether it's spouse, whether it's significant other or ex that you've had a child with, we can ask you, do you have different parenting styles? Most people do.
Yeah.
Because you don't grow up in the same household. So you look at how your parents did. Some people may emulate that, or some may say, I want to get as far away from it as I can. But we will have different parenting styles. You and I did, raising our children.
Right.
There were times we disagreed, whether on disciplines or and for me, I grew up, with a different set of disciplines than you did.
But when I relate it to when we're dealing with, separation, divorce, or strained relationships, things like that, the parenting style confuses so much of how the child will relate or act. And if you cannot come together on how to manage certain disciplinarian roles in your relationship with your child, or parenting styles, or having a conversation about it.
Sure.
It tends to cause major problems when that child gets back to whatever home.
Yes, because number one, just like what you're saying, you're going, a lot of times it may be a situation where it's different homes, back and forth. I'm at mom, she lets me do this. I'm at dad, he lets me do that. And sometimes I think one parent may be more liberal than the other. They may not communicate, like whether the simple things like bedtime, or I let him do this, or I don't allow him to do that. He doesn't get on social media, doesn't, and I think it could be, it could end up being a competition if they don't communicate. And then if they communicate and tell each other what to do, it could be one trying to up the other to win the child's heart or whatever. So it could be a challenging situation there.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
When I think too, the age range of the child matters so much.
Okay.
Because if you've got a toddler,
right. Okay.
You got a toddler and you're in two different households.
Sure.
And two different parenting styles.
Okay.
That disrupts the pattern of that child.
Okay.
Of trying to understand the consistency, which is one of the problems as well, of what the child is supposed to adhere to.
Sure. Okay.
So versus as well as when the child is older, you got a preteen, or a 10 or 11-year-old, or a teenager.
Right.
And those parenting styles can be so different.
Yes, right.
That it causes other rebellion against one parent or the other.
Yeah,
I
right,
say other
definitely.
rebellion, just rebellion.
Yeah. And even, I guess, even can cause a child to be in a space to pit a parent against another, cause more division there. So it's so important for the parents to communicate, like, this is what I do, and versus, okay, let's try to do this to get some balance for our child. Instead, that's what you do. Well, you let them stay up to 9. Guess what? I'm gonna let them stay up to 11. Instead of that, and we try to up one, work together, communicate those issues that you do. And again, make it about the child and not about you and your emotions or your beef with each other.
And that brings actually into poor communication.
Yes, right.
When you have that poor communication and that different parenting style, but you're communicating poorly to each other.
Yes, right.
That impacts the growth potential, the understanding, just the ability for the child to be able to determine or differentiate who he should listen to.
Oh, yeah.
And that causes for a train wreck.
And it never
really does.
And we should never put a child in a space where they have to choose which parent I listen to. And that's the thing. So it just only goes that the communication a lot of times ought to be done with each other, and they ought to show that they're together, for the child to see that in a way. Because again, if a child sees that there's discord, guess what? A lot of times it's going to manipulate the parents, period. And I know, I've seen that in occasions. And I'm telling you, it's just like at times you listen and you see which parent is more towards you. That's the one you draw to. And then it may be, it just like growing up, fans. And I want to say, like, if a parent were to say, here, let me take this, whether money or whatever it is, don't tell your mom or don't tell your daddy. Even in the same household, that can be confusing. But, and I'm just saying, it's so important in having two homes, as we say, in a co-parent, that they communicate with each other on how they do with the child.
Yes.
It is.
And another thing, and there's others, but in a part of communication,
yes,
that's a serious challenge when one parent decides, I'm going to communicate to you through the child. Like if you got a child that has, you got a lot of kids, even younger, have either tablets or phones or things like that, you're going to communicate I'm going to take you somewhere, and you haven't communicated to the other parent.
Yes.
Or tell your mama or tell your dad this.
Right.
They're children.
Yes.
They should not be relaying messages to their parents. So be really, really careful with things like that. If you are in a situation like that, you need to reevaluate that. Because that is just not a stable way of raising your child's mental stability.
Right. Yeah. Now you're making the child a mediator, and your children does not need to become a mediator between you and whether your ex or the other parent.
Right.
No, right. Definitely. You ought to have communication lines open, and it ought to be so that you're mature spiritually enough that you can talk to each other in a respectable manner, and I say that, and to show that before the child.
Yeah. So another common challenge is when we decide if we are separate and we're living our separate lives,
right?
Which can be and it's amicable.
Sure.
But when it's not, and there's still some dirt breeding up in your soul where you need to release, and you're dealing with your own demons about what you don't like about your spouse and vice versa, and then you introduce a new person in there.
Okay, so bringing in new partners.
Bringing in new partners.
Okay,
And, I've always thought you should never introduce your child to a partner without talking to the other parent first.
Absolutely, right. Because again, I agree with that. Because if it were, it's our child.
Right.
So, I'm not going to say that he's half of mine. Half you. No. We're not talking that stupidity. We're just talking that we both came together and we had a child. Period. Whether after that we disliked each other or we just didn't click, but still that part of that ought to be, hey, look, I'm gonna, I have someone in my life, and just letting you know that at some point I'll be introducing him to our child.
Right.
And that's just that.
And it's a matter of respect.
Yes, right.
It's a matter of respect because as any parent, they're going to want to know who their child is around.
Right. Who is around my child?
Any, young or old, that child is going to be impacted by the people that you allow them to be around.
Right. And you have to be cautious, especially nowadays, because I'm telling you, you've heard enough in the news where people have introduced their new partners way too soon before they got to know them. And then things happen or go awry. So you've got to be careful with that one. And then too, letting people know, like I say, the ex or whatever, letting them know that this is who I'm involved. Not to say, you're controlling me or I have to tell you this, but for the child's sake. Yeah. And we're talking about putting the child out front.
Yes.
The most important of it, not our beef, not our jealousy issues or, the thing, if you're not with me, then you won't be with nobody else. You've heard that before, but putting the child first and say, if we're going to maneuver or move, let us move with our child's safety being one of the first and foremost things.
Yes. And I can say lastly, I'm sure there's many other challenges, but one other we want to point out is a lack of consistency.
Okay, right,
We
exactly.
talk, maybe elaborate a little bit more, but just knowing that, especially when they're younger.
Yes, right.
A pattern of consistency.
Sure, that's it.
Maintain stability in all of us.
Yes. We all need consistency. Absolutely. Yeah. And just like the example I was talking about, hey, if you got one parent say, okay, all right, 9:30 is the bedtime, 9 o'clock is the bedtime. And the other one say, forget what your mama say or your daddy say, boy, you can stay up to 11 or 12, And I'm just saying now you're creating problems there. And then maybe say, hey, where you want to go? I'm going to go with that parent that let me stay up later, So you've got to be careful and bring those different parenting styles there together and see how we can mesh that and come to a balance.
Right. And the solution, because we all realize, you should hopefully realize when you do that, it just creates confusion for the child.
Oh, yes. Right. Definitely.
And we need to work on a solution.
Yes. Right.
And that solution, what would you suggest?
Well, we can agree on, at least try to get a point of agreement on the major issues or the major rules there. And we do that. And let's talk about even our discipline, boundaries or measures. How do we do that? Because I told you, even with us raising our children,
Right.
we saw discipline differently. And I know a lot of times you probably didn't agree with how I discipline.
Sometimes. I did not.
Okay. So we have to get balance there. Okay. So
Yeah, and
go ahead.
then as we have said a couple times on here, this is about the child or
Yes.
the children.
Right,
It
right.
is totally about them. And we are nurturing and preparing for the future. And these children, these children are looking at us,
Sure.
depending on us as
Right.
young babies. When you have birthed that child and you looking down at that child that you just birthed as it grows up, it is depending on your nutrition, your provision, your safety, your security. You have to focus on that.
Sure,
And
sure.
if you and I, as a partner or companion, if we didn't mesh and it just didn't work,
Right.
that was not the fault of the child.
Oh, it has nothing to do with that.
No,
Yeah.
they didn't ask for
Child
that.
has nothing to do with it. So, in other words, what she's saying there is that, again, as we say and have been saying the whole time, focus on the child, not the drama that you got going on.
Right.
Really. And that's the thing. Sometimes I think we put our drama, we put our beef, our turkey, all this stuff ahead of it, where we ought to just back off, put the child's well-being and balance up front.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. And create a unified connection
Sure.
with your families.
Yes, right,
If you
right.
have decided and you have another partner or y'all working toward, getting married or establishing a relationship with someone else,
Yes.
you have to create a security blanket for your child so they won't feel left out,
Right, right.
not a part of, or having a side for one parent or the other.
Okay, right, sure. And as far as one thing too, respect is a thing. And I know, I'm not even in our marriage of 40 years, we deal even with respect or setting respect boundaries. And sometimes we may cross those boundaries. And I think even in that, especially in relationships that may have gone awry and we're raising a child together, that there has to be respect boundaries there, because sometimes for some men, and I'm not trying to stomp the brothers out or down, but sometimes we feel because she had my child, she is mine, or she belongs to me, or I can control her. And to me, that you don't own her because she has your child. And that's the thing about it. Sometimes those respect boundaries are just overrun, and you feel like I can do like I want. I can move on and keep, but I don't want her to. Yeah. And see, in times it becomes tougher on a female to do it, because having a child in most cases, it may create things where men may back off because of her having a child, or where men sometimes we may skate on and just keep it moving. So there has to be boundaries that we talk about. Hey, I won't do this in front of our child. He won't let me out. He won't see me do this.
Right.
When sometimes if it's respect and disrespect, we shouldn't do it. Period.
Yes.
You know, and that's something, like I say, we need to work on.
Yeah. Because
as well.
so many times when we're dealing with the challenges of co-parenting and we're not together, you get these, and we said this before, these jealousy flares.
Right.
Then all of a sudden when you see your girl or you see your guy with someone else, then all of a sudden you in your feelings.
Sure. Right.
When you have decided that this disconnect between your relationship is over.
Right.
And it's only about the child.
Yes.
Set those
Right.
boundaries.
Sure.
You need to make sure that you are over whatever you got going on when it comes to the child.
Yes.
And then when you set those boundaries and you know that this is about raising a a child in this society.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's contractual now. It's kind of like contractual, but it can actually, doesn't have to be so stringent, but if it has to be, let it be.
Yes. Okay.
So it might be, it's more, you have to be business minded about it.
Sure.
You know, and don't get your attitude just because your money running funny, brothers or sisters.
Yeah, right.
Because you might want to get your nails done more than you really, all of a sudden I can't get my nails done as much. And now I'm kind of ticked because my son may need some extra whatever, or my daughter may need, a dress or some shoes, or your boys. You might want to go hang out with your boys, and know that certain things that you may have your son that week. Sure. So there's different.
And and what you're saying is that I just want to interject something there, is that your child never should be the burden, because again, he or she didn't ask to be here.
That's right.
Or they didn't ask to be here. Number one, you did the work or the actions to get him here. So the thing about it, that's where again, you have to put you secondary and your child out front.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yes,
always.
It's a saying I've heard. With parents will say, think about whatever you do. If you were the child, how you would have received what you heard. So, as a product of a single parent, things I remember that are not good.
Sure, right.
There were disrespect issues that crossed the boundaries all across the ways.
Okay.
And the things that I remember that haunted me.
Yes, right.
So just because you think, oh, he ain't listening, she don't know what we're talking about, when you are having a conversation with the parent, mother or father of your child, you have to be very mindful of the things you say.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's just like this. Maybe years ago, you may have had, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful in saying this, but
what are you gonna say?
No, what I'm saying, back in the day, I listened to my father say something. My father's 95 years old, and at times he used to say that growing up, a baby was like big and almost like dumb to a degree, like didn't really know a lot. And they did not engage much with adult conversation. So it was just like, you were just there. You didn't hardly know much because they didn't want you learning much. Nowadays, our children know so much.
Back then, they knew much.
Right. What I'm saying, I'm comparing the two. Is what I'm saying. Just like nowadays, our children are so wise. They know so much. And even the Bible teaches that we are wiser or weaker, but wiser generation.
Yes.
So we know a lot. We got a lot of wisdom, a lot of wisdom. But as far as that concerned, is that in all that knowing, we are weaker.
Right.
In all the knowing.
So realize the weakness in your child.
Yes.
And know that if you are downstairs having a conversation and y'all are out of pocket, and your child is upstairs and you think that he just playing on his state, whatever he playing on, or on his phone, or listening to something on TV. I'm telling you, they know what's going on, because first of all, they're going to hear something.
Yes.
And they're going to feel the vibe.
Right.
They're going to feel it. So let's not underestimate what our children are exposed to.
Sure.
When it comes to, so stay business minded. If you have to, talk about how you're going to share costs with things, this is what it is. Right. This is what it is. There are several tools out here. Google some things. There's several tools out here to help you to be able to manage. I think it's, check it out. I haven't checked it out like some of you other may, because I have not in that situation, but I think there's something called Our Family Wizard. Check something out like that. It's a tool that can help you, navigate through that. Something else called Talking Parents.
Yes.
Check out the resources out here, and also use some counseling.
Okay. And one thing too, we do advocate that, because sometimes.
Okay, sorry, y'all. We do have a little Jersey. Remember, he was talking. But he gotta chill out.
So one thing too, when it comes down to counseling, we do encourage counseling, and we've talked about it before. Sometimes, hey, if you and your ex or the co-parent, if you guys can't or not managing that well, one thing we do encourage you to definitely seek the counseling.
Yes.
And sometimes it may require you getting a third neutral party in. I'm not saying your friend or her friend and involved, but getting someone to mediate that has no particular interest as far as what side, doesn't take sides.
Right.
So you have to do that. And if it's not working, if you guys are just not bumping heads, you ought to do it for your child's sake.
Seek some help.
Yes,
some help.
right. Okay.
So we've got something that we hope that can benefit you, and it's called the 5 C's of co-parenting.
Okay. So the first one of that, of the 5 C's, the first one is communication. We talked a little bit about communication, that you've got to do it. You've got to be about a conversation. And that conversation has to be in a sensible manner, with respect and without anger.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to be clear in the things that you talk about. Be clear in those things. And it should not involve hurt and emotions per se. Remember she says too, it ought to be about the business. Keep it business-like.
Right.
So keep it clear. Keep it respectful.
Right. Second one is consistency. We talked about that. Maintain stable routines.
Sure.
That will keep your child more balanced and your life more balanced as well.
Right, right, definitely. Okay, the third C is cooperation. Listen, I guess if you had to think about it in the beginning, like, do I want to have a child with this person and that? Your thoughts may be different now. I don't know. But that be whatever it will or whatever it may, we throw out the window. Because you're where you are right now. You have a child or children. The thing you need to do is cooperate, work together, not against each other. Because your children need to see, a child needs to see that balance, that we're okay. We're in a space that we can work, and it's about the child and not about us and our beef, turkey, or chicken. Got me.
Number 4 is compassion.
Yes.
Put down your pride. Get away from your attitude, because we are needing to show grace, because we're both at fault at whatever is happening. When we disrupt this child's stability and don't show the grace that's needed.
Right.
So it expounds out to so many other things. So have the compassion with each other.
Sure.
Show the grace to each other, as well as the compassion that's needed for the child.
Yes. Right.
Because the child is going to go through some confusing moments, especially if the child saw you two getting along and y'all were together, and then all of a sudden that you're not.
Most children desire their mother and father to be together. In some cases, it's impossible. Okay, and you have to show that you can.
Yes.
With that grace.
And you have to talk with them through this, based on their understanding. And I'm going to be talking to a 10-year-old like he 18, like he's supposed to understand some of the things that y'all be doing. And how y'all be communicating. Show the compassion and have an understanding, and know that God's word can help you with that.
Yes. And number 5, C, is commitment. What is our commitment level? It should be to focus on the child. And you mentioned stability. We talked about balance. And even talk about the child's peace and peace of mind.
Yes.
That ought to be the focus. Not, again, nothing personal. These are things. Okay.
Yeah.
So next, let's talk about some things that we ought to avoid.
Yes.
Through this.
1, using your child as a pawn. Oh my gosh, so many times. You might have to be saying ouch right now, because so many times parents do that.
Yes, right. I mean, like, hey, no. Yeah, but unless you do this, you can't have him or her. Or and again, why are we doing that? And it's like, wow, you both co-parented the child to get here. Both of you, child, and you cannot split them in half, as we say. So why are we using our children that way?
Yeah.
The second thing is that we can end up bad mouthing the other parent. Oh, your daddy, this, that, or your mama, this, that. And I'm telling you, wow, the child in time, the child will see, watching long enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing to avoid is power plays. Don't be trying to power trip your child. Just manipulating.
Right.
Basically,
Yes.
what you're doing. That's another thing to avoid.
Sure. Right. And we talked about this earlier, saying that, again, when it comes to introducing new partners, to the child, don't do that too soon. Have the discussions, as we say, with the other parent, and do it in a fair manner. And again, because and you've seen in the news and in media, people that have done that and have been trusting too soon some of the tragedies that happens there. And again, give your child time. Because again, they may resent whoever you bring, because again, if it's no resolution with the other parent, then again, they may end up hating the person you bring or disliking them very much so.
Yeah.
So,
and also, the problem with that is when you introducing a partner to your child and haven't spoken to the other parent, and then what will explode is when the other parent finds out.
Right. Especially if they've been spending time with your child, and it's like, who? I don't know this person. Yeah. I want to have some say so. And as a parent, in all fairness, they ought to have a say so.
They do. I mean, some people may think, well, I'm grown. I can date who I want to. Nobody say you ain't got to do that.
Right, exactly.
Nobody say you got to do that. We're talking about introducing or allowing your child to be part of someone else without communicating that with the child's other parent.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And one of the last things we're talking is that don't make it a competition when it comes to co-parenting. Instead, try to collaborate together, work together, and do whatever you're doing for the child. It's just like, okay, you did what? You taking them where? Or taking her where? Oh, okay. And let me think of a place I can go that's probably twice as better than that. Well, I'm going to take them here. And the thing about it, we're trying to up each other. Come on, man. Let's work together.
Right.
To collaborate for the child's well-being.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, y'all.
Come on, girl. Because most of the time, you're not doing it to benefit or to help your child.
Right.
You're doing it to get back at
the other. Yeah.
And I do know some things that people get warped senses where they don't know anything about unified parenting.
Right.
It's evident that maybe one partner will make more than the other. And then if it's the female, the mother, if they make more than the other, they may have the means to be able to do things with the child more so than the other. Or the father may be able to do things. Don't look at it as a competition. Look at it as a blessing of what your child can be able to get.
Because again, the benefit is for who?
It's for the child.
The child. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's warning signs. There's warnings that you need to be aware of when you're utilizing or using those previous things that we just spoke of.
Yeah. So, okay. How can we warn, you if you're in this situation of co-parenting? One thing we want to say, be careful not to use your child to carry your pain.
Yes.
So, and what am I saying in that? You may be hurt by the ex-partner, and you may got to express that hurt to your child and want your child to feel the pain that you feel. So you have to be careful not to do that and let your children form their own opinions. Don't indoctrinate them with hate towards their other parent. Let them learn and let them see and develop their own opinions.
Right, right. And with that, don't let your pride steal your child's peace. That's what we want. We want our children to have a peace of mind that it's going to be okay between mom and dad, even if they're not going to be together.
Sure.
Let them be at peace with that.
Yes.
Don't indoctrinate, as you say, your pride and you being ticked off because it's not working or something that you don't like. Don't steal that from your child so they can see the harshness and the hatefulness, and you're stealing their peace. In today's society, we need to have peace amongst each other.
Sure, right.
So what is the scripture that says to be at peace with all men?
I think that scripture's in Hebrew.
Yeah. So there's a scripture in there that
peace with all men.
Yeah.
You may want to correct me if I'm. Sometimes I go from memory and get it wrong sometimes.
But we all reference in the scripture.
Yeah, okay. You want me to talk about live peace with all men as much as lies within you.
Yes.
So that's the thing. In that relationship, be at peace with each other as much as lie within you. So remember one thing too is that your ex is not your enemy. And you say, yes, they are. Okay, listen, they should not be.
Right.
We should not look at, you had that child together. Wasn't your enemy then?
Exactly.
Everything was good. So you're co-workers raising a future adult.
Yes.
Be careful how you tread because you want balance for your child or children.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
know that.
Yes. And you know what?
I was wrong. She just got me.
The scripture.
We're going to the scripture now.
Yes.
I tell you.
And in Romans 12 and 18.
Romans 12, 18. Yeah.
Just references it. If it is possible.
Yeah.
Say, if it is possible.
If it is possible, yes.
As far as it depends on
you.
On you. On me.
Yeah,
on
right.
you.
Live at peace with
everyone. Yes.
Okay. Another scripture is Ephesians 6 chapter 4th verse. It says, fathers, and we're going to say mothers too, do not provoke your children to anger,
right?
But bring them up in the discipline or instruction of the Lord.
Yes.
Bring them up in nurturing of the Lord. Yes. Definitely.
Yes. So we're going to just give you some action items. Okay?
Right. Something you can walk away with here as well. Go ahead. Let's talk.
So this episode, I want you, and just know, somebody might say, this ain't for me. This episode ain't for me. You may not be in it, but you may know someone.
Yes.
Or you may get there. Hopefully you may not. But then you could be the strength for somebody else that if they get there.
Yes, right.
And the first thing you need to advise them or for yourself, check your emotions before you respond. Check how you thinking about what you're going to say.
Sure, right.
And don't respond with pain.
Right.
Respond with purpose. And your purpose is your child.
And it's so easy to talk out of pain because, again, if you're in a co-parenting situation, most likely you two know each other pretty deep. You know the triggers, you know the things that are going to set them off. And guess what? And when you go at each other, you're going to remember the pain you dealt with over the relationship and dealing, and you start hitting those triggers. And again, the cause of pain. Number two, we talk about set a communication plan. When do we talk?
Yes.
When can we talk? Can we set time out and see how we proceed with raising our child? Boom. Let's plan this out. Let's do this. And okay, all right, we good? Yeah. So you're going to do that these days or whatever? Okay, I got you on the other. We're fine. We're going to create that balance for our child.
Yes.
Our children. Yes.
And when you're saying to have a communication plan, right? Just
Yeah,
that you're
right.
talking-
Plan to communicate. Yeah.
Right. So
Right.
in planning that, you may have to have a shared calendar.
Sure. Right.
You know, and you know, it's like this, my brothers and my sisters. Life as you knew it before the child is not the same.
Nah.
You're going to have to implement certain things now that includes the stability and the consistency of raising your child or children.
Absolutely. Yes.
So
correct.
having something consistent as putting on, come on now, we got these phones. Put on your phone a calendar.
Yep.
A calendar. If this is my weekend that I'm going to have my son or daughter, you make sure you plan that. And then when you do that, have valuable time with your
Yes.
son or daughter.
Quality time is so important.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not talking about
Right.
I'm chilling, I'm sleeping at home while the child is on the PlayStation or the play, whatever they do. And that's the whole weekend.
Right. Definitely spend time with your children because, again, they'll remember the time you spent and they also remember the time you didn't spend,
Yep.
as well. So,
That
you know,
right there.
and our kids nowadays, they're coming up and they don't get out as much as we used to play sports, to run, to do these things. But sometimes take a electronics break as well. And to give them that and spend time with them. Just walking and talking.
Yes, talk to them.
That is
Listen
so
to these
important.
children.
Yeah,
they got
have
some
a
things.
lot to say.
Yes,
Yes, right.
and don't make them feel intimidated when you're talking to them. So if you have this shared calendar and it's time for you to have but the thing about it, let's not just hold on to, it's only when I have them this weekend is when I'm going to communicate to them.
Right.
You know, so that's also establishing a communication plan with your child.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
And number 4, we want to talk about having a time to, how do we check in or keep abreast of our progress. So let's have a monthly check-in to see how things going. You know, even with the co-parent, are things going or whatever. So are we keeping balance there? And also with the child, to see what needs are, because may experience some things that may cause a shift in what you all are providing.
Yeah.
So you have to keep checking.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my one of my friends today, and I got to say, Brother State, and he was telling me how he calls his grandson, talks to him, and say, "Hey, look, how's everything? Want to get together, want to talk? You everything you got on your mind, want to talk about? Papa's always here."
Right.
And he said at one point he had told him, he say, "Now, Papa," he said, you always there for me or something." He said at one point, he said, "Brother, that meant so much to hear that." And I say, I got you. I remember even my grandson saying as a young kid, Papa said, you're a good Papa C. And then I say, and then I've been a bad Papa C till when I didn't buy him the thing he wanted. But keep balance there.
Yeah.
Again, the monthly check-ins are so important.
Yeah, and the ultimate, guys, is you have to pray with your children.
Sure, right.
You pray for your co-parent.
Right.
Pray for unity and peace.
Yes, right.
Because this is what we need to be able to raise our children out here. We want them to have, go to school with peace on their mind. You have no idea sometimes what these the struggles that some of these children may be dealing with because of whatever they left at home.
At home, yes.
Right. And it impacts them in school and their ability to learn. So let them see that you are working toward the peace and unity that's needed in the family.
Right. And a lot of things that we see, I'm just going to say in schools as we're talking, some of the craziness, the things that happen and some of the tragedy, maybe because of the unbalanced, in homes. And we need more of that. We need more balance, to bring things in line.
Yeah. So talking to them, hearing them.
Yes.
It's a lot of noise out here for these kids to get drawn into. Hear what they're thinking. Hear what they may be dealing with. It's so, so, so important. So with all things that we have, even myself as a grandparent, I want to make sure that I'm setting an example. And it's difficult sometimes because we have to step back and make sure that we're not crossing any boundaries. And my daughter could probably tell you I have stepped over a couple, but just knowing that we want the best, even for my grown children, I want the best for them. I'm still using those same characteristics and things that we just spoke of with grown children, with our grown children, because you've got, adults that have separated. Now you have grown children. You still need to utilize those same tips that we just spoke of. Use these strategies to be able to help your child become a pivotal part in this society to make a difference.
Yes, right. And as we're saying, just like co-parenting, it is something. And you mentioned about liking each other.
No.
Okay,
so we co-parent. You don't have to necessarily like each other.
Exactly. So you can't stand each other's guts. Really,
which
I'm
is
just
sad,
saying.
But it happens, right?
But again, as we say, for that moment,
you did.
you didn't. So the thing is, it's not about you loving each other, liking each other. It's about loving your child enough to rise above your pride, your emotions, or your personal crap.
Yes.
Really, seriously, serious. Just in a nutshell.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, we're coming to an end.
I want to say something here because as we're talking, I want to leave you with one of the last scriptures here is Proverbs 22:6. It says, train up a child.
Yes.
In the way that he should go. And when he's old, he will not depart from it.
Yeah.
So you have to raise these children with biblical principles.
Yes.
Because the same God that created you, your child, he knows what it takes for their success.
Yeah.
And you've got to include scripture, word, and you've got to speak that with prayer over your child as you're raising.
Yeah. Yes. So, you have to breed that positivity. You have to breed God's word in your child and giving them hope.
Yes. Right.
And allowing them to have peace.
Yes.
So, as we come to a conclusion of this Thursday's Dose, I do want to say one thing. Happy birthday to my husband yesterday.
Okay.
So, we are October takeovers. And he had a birthday yesterday.
And I want to say to you, as was said last week, I want to say happy birthday to my wife on last Thursday.
Oh.
And I want to also say to my wife, and we talked about it a little bit, and I appreciate you. And as we're learning together, we're going through together, like I say. We both have birthdays, 5 days apart?
5 days apart.
Yeah, exactly. And then I want to shout out my parents again, who celebrated 75 years of marriage the day before your birthday, the 22nd, that Wednesday. And just want to...
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
There's also...
so my boy.
Yes. So,
our grandson.
Our grandson, Cameron, who was born on Papa C's birthday.
Yeah.
So yesterday was both Papa C and Cam's birthday. He's getting older now, so I don't even know if he's feeling the Cam. But
you say yesterday?
Yes.
Is this Thursday's dose?
Thursday's dose.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Right.
Yes, it was Tuesday.
Yeah,
sorry,
right, Tuesday.
Birthday on Tuesday because we just take over October. So,
yes.
I want to say happy birthday to my loving husband and my loving grandson Cameron for October 28th. That I have been able to grace his presence. For 47 years that we've been riding this thing.
And I want to say too, I love your hair. I missed it last time, and we did it after. So definitely.
Yeah.
So she's got
braids,
her hair.
y'all.
That's okay. That's all right. You're good. So you definitely. I appreciate your color and your hair, and as always, love you.
Love you too.
Love your beauty, and I do love you. Though at times I know I have to work on me with things.
We have to work on
too. Yeah,
our-
and I have to say me.
But I do want to put a
showing
shout out. I'm sorry. Thank
Okay.
you so much for recognizing the hair. But I'm going to give a shout out to who was responsible
Okay.
for the color of this hair.
All right.
I don't care. It's about what? 60 miles that I travel.
Oh no, that's more. Than
It's more than 60 miles.
Yeah.
Just know that Simply Marvelous in Winston-Salem. Check her out. Call her. She'll give you a consultation. She deals with natural hair, and she is amazing. Simply Marvelous. I love you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. One of our top supporters.
One of our top supporters when
definitely.
she started. So again,
Also, our daughter's birthday
coming.
is this Thursday's dose. This is
Wait
it.
a minute.
Right here.
Am I crazy?
Yeah. Couldn't let see she's forgetting about it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Happy birthday
Thursday's
to
dose,
our
right.
oldest child,
Right.
Ashley. Want to recognize you as well. As I say, we took over
Yep.
October. So thanks again. Happy birthday, Ashley. Happy birthday
Yes,
today.
Ashley. Yes.
Happy birthday
Right.
to hubby and grandson.
And I have to
on
also
Tuesday.
say my niece Janelle, day before mine. You know,
So
several
we got a
other
whole
people.
family.
We got a lot of them. Yeah.
Right.
And again, we appreciate you.
Yes.
Co-parent in a way that pleases God.
Just remember, you can do this.
Yes.
If
Right.
you're in it, you can do this. And if you're only thinking about the child, it will be a success.
Yes.
So until next time, y'all,
Just keeping it real with Charles and.
Melendia.
Yep. Peace out, y'all.
Bye.
Just keeping it real, no pretend. Charles and